Riot Squad who's smaller. But like it just kind of irked me just a bit because like it seemed like at a lot of points it was like Nia was barely selling anything. Even when Belair got in, and like Belair is one of like the strongest and toughest in the women's division right now. It was like, okay, I get it. You're a powerhouse, so you're not gonna sell it as much.
Yeah.
But like it was still almost like as if nothing was affecting her, which I guess is a good way to build her. Yeah.
Liv Morgan, I think, looked better in this match than she's had like in her entire career. It was really good showing again on her part.
Yeah. I'm really excited for what they do with the Riot Squad, but so then it leaves it 3-on-1, and here's where, in my opinion, the booking kind of got a bit
Yeah.
Because I get it, you're trying to preserve the remaining superstars in this match because you're building up Bianca Belair as this next superstar in the women's division, which is rightfully deserved for her. And you're trying to build both Jax and Baszler as these two powerhouses that are unstoppable because, I mean, technically they really are, especially like seeing the runs Baszler and Jax have gone on, But at the same time, I felt like this was a really bad way of protecting them because, in my opinion, the way the three women were eliminated, it seemed like as if like neither of the three women were properly thinking.
So what you're saying, Jack, is that the finish last night was designed so that nobody came out looking bad. Yeah. But as a result of how they finished that match, no one came out looking good either.
Yeah, because the finish is Baszler locks in
the Kirifuda clutch.
Yeah, the Kirifuda clutch on Belair. And this was one part which I wish the commentary did bring up to like hold that continuity. I wish they had mentioned that Belair is the woman that has lasted the longest in that submission. Because that was the whole play up of Takeover New York. Because after I believe it was Phoenix 2019, they played up in that Fatal 4-Way, Belair's lasted the longest. So I was hoping they played it up here. But, Belair played it up herself by showing that she still got up from it, carrying Shayna on her.
Got up to her feet.
Yeah. And you see her struggling to get to the ropes, but she's still going. She's still lasting through until finally she passes out. And she passes out on the rope. But here's again where the booking gets really weird. Baszler doesn't let go, and therefore, because Belair's arm is on the ropes, the ref has to count to 5 or else it's a DQ. And Shayna doesn't let go. If she lets go, the ref is going to see Belair's knocked out. That's the end of the match. But she keeps it on, gets disqualified. And so it's like, well, that just kind of makes Shayna look dumb.
Yeah, not only does it make her look dumb, I mean, reckless or short-sighted last night, I feel like she's been disqualified for similar reasons in the past. So you know what I mean? It's like, definitely going to the well a little too many times for that character's sake.
Yeah. And then finally you get Belair battling Jax on the outside. And
before we go there, Shayna choked out Bianca Belair so bad her lips were blue. A joke again for the audio listener. She was wearing blue lipsticks, ladies and gentlemen. SmackDown.
But so her and Belair and Jax start battling on the outside, and the rest slowly just counting to 10. It's a 6 count. Now it's a 7 count, 8 count, and then right as he hits the 9 count, you see Jax run at Belair. And granted, man, this again, they were really trying to show all the strengths of Belair. Belair heaves Jax over the barricade at the 9 count, and then she realizes, wait, the ref's at the 9 count, and then by the time she tries to get in the ring, 10 count, both women are counted out, meaning the sole survivor is Lana, who's been on the stairs the entire time.
I thought that slide, or that half slide, Bianca Belair had her arms and head in the ring, but she hadn't yet jumped into the ring at the 10 count. It's one of those times where WWE just gets it real right, and to have come so close to beating that 10 count made it just feel that much more surprising and impactful. I was 100% sort of like, wow, and then got completely caught off guard because, frankly, I forgot Lana was there.
Yeah, but it's a feel-good moment for Lana. But it's not the ultimate payoff because, like we said, we're still waiting to see when Jax and Belair truly, not Belair, Jax and Baszler truly get their comeuppance.
Yeah, and not watching Raw, but I suppose we're probably going to drag this out until TLC, like you said.
Yeah. But another interesting match, with an interesting take on how to play it out. Just a couple ill booking decisions, in my opinion, but it still works out in the end, Still progresses a lot of the storylines they want. And Belair isn't hurt too much by it. But so, moving on, the next match. It's a match, again, that a lot of people said we saw a lot of, especially last year. It happened at WrestleMania last year. Mm-hmm. Which I find ironic because it happened at WrestleMania last year, but because of how different both men's characters are, people were now saying that this felt like it could have been a WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, there was compared to that first WrestleMania outing where Drew was the heel, nothing was on the line. This was really kind of a kind of ending a celebratory story of Roman's triumphant sort of victory over leukemia.
Yeah.
This was that match where we were all excited about the fact that he thought he wasn't going to come back, and here we are, WrestleMania against the mean Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Tables have been flipped. Drew McIntyre is your WWE champion, and top babyface Roman is the head of the table on SmackDown, and just a mean overall guy.
Yeah, and like I said, despite this match happening before, it still had that big fight feel to it. And what really added to that, to me, was that video package.
Uh-huh.
I saw it when it was on the pre-show, but I was so glad that they showed it again because that video package was just so well done.
Agreed. What about it stood out to you, Jack, that made you hype for the match?
So, what I really loved, and this is also on part of McIntyre just being as great as he is, what I loved was that they highlighted that, yes, it was originally supposed to be Orton versus Reigns, but Drew's persistence to regain that title is what led to this build-up, what led to now what is viewed by the people as the two big faces of this company now to this big match, And, that's one thing that I think we don't see a lot of today is when Drew lost the title, immediately people either assumed he was getting, one final rematch, he was going to lose, and then move on to other things. But Drew showed that he had true ambitions for that title, and he was going to do whatever it took to get it back, Which, again, why I say is something desperately missing today, because we see so many superstars who win a championship, and then when they finally lose it somewhere down the line, it's almost like they really don't care that they lost it. Sure, they'll get a championship rematch, but once that's over, they may get into another feud, but it doesn't seem like their main goal is getting back into that title picture.
Keith Lee, NXT, August.
Keith Lee in NXT, Kofi Kingston last year when he lost it to Brock.
Well, can you imagine being Kofi Kingston? He lost to Brock Lesnar. What are you supposed to do? Challenge him?
Yeah, well, see, the issue with Kofi was that he lost it, and instead of having at least somewhat showing that was the top belt in the company and I lost it like that, it was like we saw him the next night, or not the next night, but the next Friday SmackDown, basically the same as he was, as if nothing happened,
You're right. Nope, you're absolutely right.
And it was the same with Keith Lee. He lost it and then he was gone, and we've seen it with so many others, whereas Drew, it was it was refreshing. It was a change that we've been wanting to see, He lost that title, and it wasn't just, oh, well, I'm going to challenge you because I have a rematch clause, It was, I'm challenging you because I want what you took from me. That was the most important thing. It took me years to build to get to that point, to get that belt. It's my life's work. You took it from me. I'm going to work and get it back.
Agreed.
And that's what really added, especially because, again, they highlighted in that video package, especially because they included that soundbite of McIntyre saying, "You take being at the top as a right, I see it as an honor." You know, showing how much he truly cares that, guess what, he's at the top and he's not going to let it go like that.
So you a lot of Drew-centric themes in that hype package really got you going and ready for this match. This is, I think, one of the few times in the night where we heard one brand talking to the other and, like, striving for a display of dominance and superiority, because Roman in this new character was outright calling Drew, or the WWE champion, the secondary champion, which was, really exciting. I was telling my dad about, like, the mid 2010s where we had two champions and one always felt like the lesser, right?
Yeah.
We talked a bit about, whether two champions even make sense to have, and he, correctly kind of named, as a business, from a business standpoint, yeah, you need two champions, one for each show. But you and I both know of the struggle that second championship's always had. So for Roman, who technically has the second championship, the Universal title being so much newer than the old historic one, to come out and call it the secondary was, oof.
Yeah.
You must... The gold gauntlet on your hand, sir, is mighty heavy.
Yeah. And again, it even saw, like, that whole brand supremacy thing. I remember in a promo he cut, I can't remember if he was talking to Orton or Drew. He told them, he said, go ahead and, like, talk. I don't watch Raw anyways.
Yeah, so there we go. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. In a non-title match, we're only going for pride here. Against the head of the table, Roman Reigns, your Universal Champion, flanked by Paul Heyman.
Yeah. It was a really good match to me. Like, it was really good. I just love the way that they've built up both men, that they truly do feel like the two faces of the company,
Mm-hmm.
And, like, after so many years of them forcing Roman as the face, it's like this year it just truly feels deserved for him,
Yes.
with the character work he's doing.
Agreed.
And like, the match was just really well again, it really is like almost two men at their peak. And, like, I'm really glad, obviously it would have been kind of good to see Orton versus Reigns as well, but, like, I think they just really booked it well to do it McIntyre versus Reigns. And they had like, a really good match. And I love that they kept both men strong in the match, especially, with the finish, Drew hits the Claymore on Reigns, who gets knocked into the ref. The ref goes down. Jey Uso comes out to kind of redeem himself for his mistakes earlier in the night. He distracts McIntyre, but McIntyre takes care of him. But he turns around into a low blow from Reigns, who then gets him in the guillotine headlock. And again, keeping it strong, they didn't make him tap. And, you can say, well, we see that a lot, people pass out instead of tapping. But that keeps it strong. But not only did him passing out instead keep him strong, but it was the fact that, because he gave it his all his entire match, his body just gave out on him. Sure, Drew wanted to fight out of it as much as he could, but because of how much he gave it his all, his body gave out, and that was it, That's how it ended.
I think that really played into, like, the post-match kind of shots of Reigns celebrating and Drew, like, grimacing, He's sitting upright. He's awake. And, he knows that the only reason why that match didn't keep going was because his body denied him that ability.
Yeah. Really, really good match. And really good.
I agree. I second a lot of opinions I saw online. Significantly better than that WrestleMania match a year ago.
Yes. But with about 15 minutes left, we get to the final selling point of Survivor Series.
The only reason why I'm watching last night, frankly.
Mm-hmm. The final farewell to The Undertaker.
Oof, let's go. It starts with a parade.